Alex that we are doing an AMA. How's it going, everyone? Ask me anything. I am here to talk as the Outlaw. Alex set this up for me. I was just about to finish my day over here at Collider. We had a couple of Schmodown matches. Can't tell you which ones they were, but we had a couple of them. A lot of fun. And so I'm here to answer your questions. I don't know if anybody's on here, so let me see. All right, well, Billy Polahan asks, beside yourself, who has been your favorite competitor this season? Wow, this season? Well, I'd have to say Josh Makuga was great because he's been undefeated. I think Brienne was incredible winning the free-for-all. But I think maybe Bibiani has been my favorite competitor because 23 rounds in the free-for-all is pretty amazing. He didn't pull it out, but you got to give a lot of respect for him to survive so many rounds in that. And we'll see what happens in the #1 contender match when he actually, challenges somebody to it, we'll see. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I guess he did already because he challenged Snyder. So there you go. We'll see how that match turns out. And if he can take the belt off whoever's the champion. John Service asks, hey, Outlaw, can you give us any hints as to who will be in the new Four Horsemen? Well, I can't give you any real hints about who's going to be in the Four Horsemen, but I can tell you this. It might be more than 4. I don't know. There's certainly been conversations. If things work out the way I hope they work out, then you will be hearing really, really soon who the other people are. Patrick Harden, the movie trivia Schmodown has changed a lot since you first joined. Yes. What's the most fascinating change to the show, on screen or behind the curtain, in your opinion? Most fascinating change, I think the level of the questions have alternately gotten easier, but also harder because we've been asking so many of them that eventually you find these weird kind of, you find more blind spots in your movie trivia knowledge than you had when you first started, because most of the general stuff you could get, but now we're getting real specific. So that's been an interesting change. I think also the interactions with the fans has changed as well. You guys are so much more involved, and you have your own watch parties and stuff. Like, it's incredible. The Phoenix watch party was incredible. The watch parties in the UK were incredible. And we watch those. We watch you all watching us watch. It's a conundrum right inside of a riddle. We're watching you guys watch us while you watch us watch you. It's crazy. I can't even put the mental energy behind it to get it correctly. But yeah, that's kind of the thing that's really changed. To see how much the fandom is into it. I've really enjoyed that. And the intensity of the competitors has increased as well because they've seen what the reactions are like from you guys when you're loving them or hating them or giving them crap for not getting answers right, or actually giving them a lot of love for getting the answers right and for winning. So I think all of that bleeds into the change now. Brad Thomas, hey, hello. Hi, Alex. Hi, John. Billy Polahan, what has been your favorite entrance so far? Good question, Billy. I don't. I don't know, to be honest with you. I mean, Brienne and Stacy always do a great job with their intros, and that's pretty standard that they're great. So I don't know that anything that they've done is kind of higher than anything they've done before. I think the greatest one was obviously this year, if we're counting the free-for-all, was Makuga coming in with the keg and being held up in the air and getting the keg in it. That was pretty awesome. I thought that was pretty awesome. Oh, by the way, can you tell me if you can hear me? Can you tell me if you can hear me? Because that's really important if you guys can hear me. All right, what has been, yeah, okay, Bill, is John Zervis. Okay, you're asking again. How did you get your start with Collider? I remember first seeing you in a Walking Dead review episode. Yeah, actually, it's really interesting. I got my start with Collider through an interview with Dennis, Zhang, Wendy, Lee, and John Campia. They were looking for after-show hosts. And I think Brienne was the one who suggested it to me on Twitter. We weren't like 100% friends yet at this point, but she sent me a DM or something saying this might be of interest to you because I'd expressed to her at some point that I wanted to, do something a little more than what I was doing already with my own shows and over at Geek Nation. So yeah, I went in and interviewed with John and Dennis and Wendy, and I felt like it went really well. And then they put me on all those shows, put me on Walking Dead, eventually put me on Game of Thrones. We had The Flash, which was really great. And I would occasionally guest on the Supergirl one and do all that kind of stuff. And then eventually moved me into movie talk, and that's all due to Christian. Like Christian, because we've been friends a long time, and Christian, when the Schmoes Know made their deal with Collider, that was what really helped me as well, because Christian kind of believes in me and supports me, and so that's a positive. Okay, Jackson Barber, do you find you need to go back to biopic and Western movies now that you've landed on those two so often? No, actually, Jackson, I actually don't have to go back because I watch so many of them all the time. Honestly, they are my crack. That's why I just have that knowledge at my fingertips most of the time, because those are the movies I watch on my off hours, hanging out at the house or flipping channels. I love biopics. I love Western movies. They just, for whatever reason, they appeal to me in a way that's very organic. And so for me to watch, like for Rachel Cushing and those Lord of the Rings movies, she watches those things religiously. She can tell you dialogue. She can tell you, like the names of everything, 10 different names of everything. For me, Westerns are that. And certainly biopics as well. Let's see. Alex Marzonia, any inner geekdom plans? Yes and no. Like, yes, I'd love to do it, but the way my schedule is now, it would really take a monumental effort on my end to be prepared to even remotely think I can enter into an inner geekdom ring and make some kind of noise. But you never know with me, because sometimes I can be a very organic person, and then I'm like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And then I just set my mind to it, and I take those Saturdays and Sundays where I normally go hike or go ride my bike for a couple hours down to the beach. I will sit in front of a computer and learn all that kind of stuff and quiz myself. So you never know. If the organic desire to do it pops up inside me, then I will make the effort to do it. That's just how I've always been. Billy Bohan, where did you get the idea for the outlaw persona? Well, I've answered this a few times, but I'll answer it one more time. Billy, it happened between Christian and I. Christian came to me and he said, listen, I'm going to do this schmut. I'm going to make it bigger than it was. We were doing it over on the AfterBuzz studio. We're going to make it even bigger. We'll do little things, but I need to get a heel. I need a heel to sell this thing, to take it to like WWE levels. And he knew I was a massive fan of the WWE. He wrote for the WWE. So we had a conversation on the phone one day. We were just talking about stuff and how we would do this heel thing. And I've always wanted to play a heel. Those are always my favorite wrestlers. After Hogan, even when Hogan became a heel, I loved it even more. And so I went into the closet, looked through a bunch of stuff, and as we were talking, I found the cowboy hat that I had gotten years ago when I was living in Virginia, and cowboy boots that my mom had gotten me for Christmas, like way back in the 90s. And I just kind of put that together, and then the V for Vendetta mask was a Halloween costume that I had worn like 2 or 3 years the year. So I put it all together in my mind in terms of the costume, and then Christian and I worked out the Outlaws persona, and then Christian was the one who was like, crash this interview, crash that interview, do this, do that. So just know that a lot of it was a partnership between Christian and I, and me crashing those interviews was almost never my idea. Every single time it was Christian going, you should crash this, you should crash that. So just so you guys know, it wasn't as me going, you know what, I'm just going to jump in here, So and it worked out really well. And he gave me some good advice on how, what promos, what to hit on the promos. But the natural, organic way of those promos were never scripted. So I'd like to fly by the seat of my pants. Just tell me what I need to hit, and then I'll get there. So that's how we kind of worked this all out. Patrick Harden, you were part of the first, hopeful of many live movie trivia showdowns. I'm sure the lead up and match itself were insane. Any chance you can give us any insight on how everyone celebrated afterwards? Oh, honestly, the whole lead up was exhausting as hell in a good way, because we were nervous how many tickets we were going to sell. We were nervous how many people were going to show up. We were nervous what the reaction was going to be like. And then, because we don't script these matches, these are authentic matches, we didn't know how the matches were going to go. Were they going to be blowouts? Were people going to be, was it going to be two just, wipe the floor type things, or were they going to be more evenly matched matches? So there was a lot of that going on behind the scenes. I was super nervous because of the meltdown we had earlier against the Patriots to play JTE again. I was really trying to make sure I didn't lose it or get out of, get caught up in everything, and stayed focused. And so it worked out for me in that way. To celebrate, I didn't go out with anybody to celebrate. I went home because that was such an exhausting day. Because remember, we had worked all day at Collider already, and then right into the movie trivia showdown. And I'm sure those guys in the production went home early, or went home after it was over too, to relax. But I think maybe people went next door and had beers or whatever. But all I wanted to do was to go home and kind of sit with myself, happy that I beat JT, and then kind of just, go to bed, basically. What can I tell you? That's how I celebrated. Kevin Fortier, what are you doing? Did you get for Mama Outlaw on Mother's Day this Sunday? Mom always gets flowers. Mom always gets some sarsaparilla. No, I'm just joking. I sent her some flowers, and definitely going to give her a call. And it's always fun. My mom and I always have a conversation. She lives in Virginia, so I can't take her anywhere. But my sister and my brother who are back there do that. But we have great conversations on the phone and talk about how much I cherish her, how much I appreciate her, and how much I would not be where I am today without the fortitude my mother put in me as I was growing up. But I'll tell you, I used to think it was my dad who built me from scratch. But after my father passed, my mom and I had always had this good relationship, but it was never an in-depth relationship. I used to reveal myself to my dad, and I was kind of ashamed to be vulnerable with my mother. And after my father passed, my mother and I took some time. We developed our own relationship and became this really good friends. And so for me, those are the enjoyable conversations I had with my mom on Mother's Day or on her birthday, to tell her how much I appreciate her, how much I love her, how much her support of me, no matter what I was doing through the years, was really important to get me where I am today. And I'm not done getting to where I want to get to, but it's certainly a nice place that I found myself in. If it hadn't been for her, just constantly believing in me, even when many of the years of my life I didn't believe in myself, I don't think I'd be where I'm at today. Brad Thomas says, have you ever visited my hometown of Canada? Well, how is Canada a hometown? That's a home country, maybe. Or Vancouver. There you go. I think that's what you were trying to say. Hoping the live events succeed enough to get a tour so I could drive to Seattle to see the movie theater Schmodown live. I'd love to go to Seattle. I've never been to Seattle. That'd be a lot of fun. I've never been to Canada or Vancouver, unfortunately, but my friend Shannon just went with his wife to Vancouver as a kind of a gift for their anniversary, and they said they had an incredible time. They said Vancouver is a very sweet town, a good town, nice people there, very chill, a lot to do, but very relaxed kind of vibe. And then they went on this kind of hidden places of Vancouver tour, which they were a little overwhelmed by, because there's obviously areas that are homeless, areas that are a little more dangerous, that are there in Vancouver, and they took a tour, that kind of thing, and cut it off at midnight when they wanted to go on this they proposed going on this hike way into the mountains, and they was like, no, we're not doing that. So, but I would love to go to Vancouver. That sounds like a lot of fun. We'll see if I do that. Jackson Barber, not to rub in an old wound, but is Jane Fonda the new Bespin as far as motivation? No, because I got it right. Look, Jane Fonda is something people use for jokes, and that's great. Joke, whatever you want to do. I still won 2 belts. Have you won 2 belts? No, you haven't. So keep joking. But I am a 2-time champion. You are a wannabe champion. So keep coming up with the jokes, but until you win belts, I don't want to hear anything you got to say. The Jane Fonda stuff is just for laughs now. I mean, now we can do that, but when it was happening, it was really frustrating because I got it right. I knew the answer right at the end. Unfortunately, I wrote too fast, and I should have asked for a repeat. That's definitely true. But I knew the answer, and for me, it's called Movie Trivia Schmodown, not the movie Write Legibly Schmodown. And so the point was that I got it right, and I feel like either I should have gotten the points, or we should have kind of just lost points on both sides. But the respin, bunch of bullshit. All right, what do we got next here? Patrick Harden, how often and how nicely do I have to ask for a Raleigh, North Carolina match? Looking for that sweet, sweet national tour. I think that's a Matt Knows Top 10 reference. I don't know how we get a Raleigh, North Carolina match. I think it all depends on the demand and the tour costs and what can be set up. I mean, if you want to take the lead on this, Patrick, and round up a bunch of people who will put us up in a good hotel, and you can guarantee us sellout of a theater or an auditorium where we can set up the Schmodown. I think you get in touch with Christian. It's something you guys understand. If you want us to come to your towns, you're going to have to head this up and show a little initiative and talk to people around who are Schmodown fans in your town, get hotels to comp us, or at least have a real reduced rate on the hotel. So we're saving money all around, and then maybe we can figure out plane or whatever travel expenses on that end. But I think that's what happens. And then, how many tickets get sold. We do stuff through live events, but I mean, full screen live rather, but it all depends on what the desire is in that town to have us there. So if you want to do that, I would say get some commitments, no different than a Kickstarter or a Patreon or anything like that, and you know, get some money behind it, and then Christian will see that, wow, we don't have to do a lot of legwork. Let's set up some matches. We'll flat have the matches out there, and we're good to go. So that's what I would say. If Matt Nost magically vanished off the earth and you had to find another partner, any idea who you might pick? Well, damn, that's a very good question, Brad Thomas Films. There are so many great choices, right? I mean, I think you've got what? You've got, Jason Inman, who's the Intergeekdom champion. You've got Sam Levine, of course. He's set up at Above the Line. I wouldn't take any of the pay, although Jeff Snyder would be, me and Jeff Snyder, Lord God, can you imagine if I went heel again and joined with Jeff Snyder? Can you even imagine what that tag team would be like? We would set the whole place on fire. But I always settle on Mark Riley. Yodi's my boy. He's always been my boy. And so if anything should happen with Matt and I, like if Matt gets sick of it or if we hit that storyline where we have to break up, then I think that's a possibility that I would go with Yodi. Because I love Ross to death. I think it'd be a lot of fun to do a movie trivia showdown with. And we both complement each other and keep each other calm and cool and collected under the bright lights, which I think is important. All right, is that all the questions? I don't see any more questions. You guys have do you have any more questions? I'm willing to stick around for a few more minutes if you guys have any more questions. I don't see any more coming through. How do we make sure we've answered everything? Yeah, do you guys have any more? No more questions. Because I will kill it if you don't. Oh, who would you like to see make a face or heel turn? Brad Thomas Films, you're asking, who would you like to see make a face or heel turn? Face turn. You know what? I'd love to see Emma Fyffe go heel. I think Emma Fyffe, a lot of people don't know, Emma's got a little bit of a streak in her. She's very determined, strong person, likes to accomplish things. So if you kind of twisted that a little bit and made her go evil with it, I think it'd be fun. And she's got a sharp wit, a sharp tongue. She will cut you to pieces if she feels like she wants to do that. Who could I see going face? I don't know. Is there a heel that might go face? I don't know. Nothing leaps to mind. I think Snyder would be a terrible face. I'd love Christian to go full heel. That would be incredible. Christian, I mean, remember when Ken went full heel and they had that back and forth? That was like primo stuff. There's my answers. Kevin Fortier, when is the big showdown on the basketball court with Perry? Well, I don't know. Did she already do the preliminary battle we had? Because we shot that, and there's certainly footage of that. I don't know if she put it out there on her YouTube account or not. But we certainly had a lot of battles. We certainly battled up on the pre-stuff. So we'll see if that happens with Perry. It all depends on her. You know, she's a very busy person, and if she finds the time, we can set it up on Saturday. Billy Boylan, can you beat my friend Raul in trivia? He insists there's a rivalry. Oh, no. Raul thinks there's a rivalry because Raul's a fool. I like to mess with Raul because Raul has never supported the Outlaw, never supported John Rocha. They always supported everyone else against me. Which happens. Listen, I find that all the time with certain fans of Latino heritage. They have an issue with me being champion. They have an issue with me being successful doing this. I find a lot of people comment about it who are of Latino last names. So I don't understand why, but Raul thinks we have a rivalry. I would probably smoke Raul, like I would set him on fire, basically. It would be like a forest fire went through him and he was just ashes on the ground. I would absolutely smoke him. We even had a little bit of while we play sometimes, when he was here today, I got most of the answers that he didn't. So, you know, Raul's it's a lot of talk. There's a lot of talk and no action. Let's see, what's next? What about the Patriots in the top 10 basketball game? Oh, yeah, that's totally going to happen. We've been planning it probably maybe the end of May or sometime in June, but no later than that. I think it's going to happen very, very soon. I had a little bit of an injury last week, and I'm just kind of nursing myself back with the knee. Once that gets squared away, then I'll be good to go. But at this point, we're looking at the end of May, maybe the middle of June sometime, and we'll figure it out. But I'm going to kick the shit out of those guys. Matt and I, we're going to kick the shit out of those guys. And they talk all their mess. They're in so much trouble. If they get 1 or 2 points off us per game, I'll be surprised. That's just for you guys. All right. John Zervis, Lightning or Caps in the Stanley Cup final? I am from D.C. I've been a Capitals fan since 1980. So I'm talking Dale Hunter, Rod Langway, those guys. Those were all my guys there who played for the Caps. You know, Langway didn't wear a helmet. Back in the old school days, there were guys who didn't wear helmets and played. Those are my guys, you know. Murphy, those are those dudes that were on there playing all the time. And seeing how many years we had heartbreak, it just destroyed me. So to finally be able to be in a position where we can get back possibly to Stanley Cup Finals, I have to cheer for my Capitals. And I cheer for my Capitals because Tampa Bay is pulling some bullshit where Tampa Bay is not allowing Washington Capitals fans to wear their Capitals gear in their stadium, in their auditorium. They're saying if you wear Capitals gear, they're going to kick you out of the stadium, kick you out. And that's ridiculous. Like, this is America. You can wear what you want to wear, support whatever team you want to support. What kind of Gestapo tactics are the Tampa Bay Lightning doing here by telling people they can't wear rivals' gear or else they're going to be kicked out of the stadium? And how little confidence do you have in your fan base that you don't think enough of them are going to show up wearing Tampa Bay Lightning gear to drown out the occasional Capitals fan who's in there wearing his or her gear? So to me, the Tampa Bay Lightning kiss my ass. The Washington Capitals are going to whip them. For that alone, that's bad karma with the hockey gods, and I guarantee you the Capitals will win this series. I don't know if it'll go 7, but I think they'll win this series. All right, where are we at here? Patrick Harden, we know the matches are all unscripted and completely genuine. However, I'm curious what percentage of the out-of-match storylines are from spur of the moment, inspiration versus scripted. Well, it's rare there's spur of the moment stuff. That's actually kind of rare. It does happen, but it's really rare. It's more a matter of Christian's like, his mind is always working for storylines. And then those of us who get invested in, we go to him with our storylines that we want to play out, or people we want to team up with, or people we want to get in our factions, or people we want to face in matches, or people we don't want to face in matches. You all would be surprised at how many people don't want to face certain people because they want to get a few wins before they, face the bigger fish. They want to face, so there's a little bit of a mind game going on all the time with people in their storylines and what they want to do and how they want to showcase their trivia knowledge to the fans. People are more aware of how they can build themselves up until they face someone like McWeeny or me or Sam or JT or Schneider, those kinds of people. They want to build, fight amongst themselves, kind of become the best out of the lower area, and then move into the big time. So that kind of stuff does happen. But most of the time, it's Christian like coming up with these storylines, and then it's about scheduling and convenience and all that kind of jazz that comes into it as well. Brett Thomas, do you have a favorite NHL team? Yes, the Washington Capitals. I'm a big hockey fan for Vancouver, but I cheer for the Colorado Avalanche. Yeah, I cheered for the Avalanche when they made their switch. I can't remember who they were before. It was the Quebec Nordiques or the Hartford Whalers or the Winnipeg Jets. I forget what they were before, but when they became the Avalanche with, is it Joe Sakic? I think it was Joe Sakic, and Patrick Waugh was the goalie. I became a fan of theirs back in the late 90s, and I just I love the design of their uniforms and the look and everything, the colors. So I just immediately became a Colorado Avalanche fan. And then they happened to start winning, which was like cherry on top of cheering for them. So that was a lot of fun to see that, because I've never seen my team, the Washington Capitals, win a Stanley Cup. So it's kind of nice to see the Avalanche do that. Yes, I am a hockey fan against my Leafs. Yeah, Toronto Maple Leafs, yeah. All right, John Zers, if that is absolute bullshit that you can't wear what team jersey you want, that's ridiculous. Never heard of it. Yeah, I know. But that's Florida sometimes in Tampa Bay. I don't know what's going on down there. I don't know why they're doing the things that they're doing, but it's ridiculous that a Washington Capitals fan who pays good money, hard-earned money, working, can't buy a ticket and wear their gear and show up. Now, if they're being obnoxious or they're being rude or they're saying cuss words or they're being offensive, absolutely kick them out. But wearing a jersey and cheering for your team, as long as you're not doing it in a way that's offensive and over the top, should not be disallowed in America. freedom of speech in America, and it should not be allowed. You can go into a stadium and be told that you can't do these kinds of things. I don't care if you own the stadium. This is America, and you have your stadium on our soil. If you're on our soil, then you're going to follow the rules and the Bill of Rights and the freedom of speech. That is a right. All right, where are we at? Jackson Barber, how's your son, Andrew Guy? He's not my son. Let's make that clear. We have to eventually start killing that storyline. He's not my son. Andrew is doing fine. We're cool. And there was some stuff cut out from the free-for-all that if you guys ever got a chance to watch it, you might enjoy it. Why is he calling out Merle? Well, I guess when you want to establish yourself after you've been in prison for 3 months, you want to try and see how good you can be against the best. Andrew's one of those fearless guys. I respect that about him. He was fearless to try to tackle me. He succeeded at it. He was fearless to go against Dan Merle. I respect that he wants to face the best and see how he can do against the best. And so I'll never deny Andrew doing that, because that's exactly what I did when I first started out in the league. I didn't care who I played. I just wanted to play and beat the best, because that's how I prove how good I am. If I can beat the best, then I am one of the best. So there you go. Where are we at next? Nordiques is correct. Yes, Quebec Nordiques. That's right. They were all correct on the Avalanche play. Oh, cool. Good. Yeah, it's in there. It's in there. You know. I think he needs. Yeah, Andrew needs a good talking to. Sure. It's not going to be me though. Patrick Hart, you mentioned that sometimes the new blood wants to battle things out before hitting the more veteran players. Yeah. Do you feel there should be something like a cruiserweight belt? Ooh. That's a reference term. That's a wrestling reference. That's not a bad idea. I'm sure Christian has thought about it. I think we need a few more players to create a cruiser belt, like an IC belt or something. That's certainly possible. But, you know, Christian is he always has the wrestling storylines in his mind. So that's certainly possible. And I would not be against that. I think that'd be a great way to kind of establish a potential champion coming out of the pack, winning that IC belt, and then, or a cruiserweight belt, and then seeing what they do against the big dogs. That would be a lot of fun to see. So we'll see. I mean, it all depends on how the situation goes down. All right. Any other questions going on? I might have to wrap it up here in a couple of minutes, depending on if there's any more questions. I'll just keep looking. Okay. John Zervis, how do you prepare for your movie trivia showdown matches? Do you study, watch movies your weekend? You know, I used to not do that, John, because I used to just kind of think that it was going to work out the way it was supposed to work out. It was very zen about it in that way. I know I'm a pretty emotional guy. I can be, you know, but most of the time, pretty chill, happy-go-lucky guy. But like, I have been known to be emotional at times. So I kind of feel like the game is going to go however the game is going to go. However, losing to Snyder has really changed my mind about that. And I think, like I've decided after the meltdown against Top 10, I decided against the Patriots, rather, that I'll never melt down again on a set during a match, that I also will now start focusing on films I haven't seen before, or categories I'm not strong in, like animation or horror, and be more aware of those and study those up a bit more, and maybe even watch those movies. Perry's supposed to be helping out with me on the horror side. On the animated side, I have Matt Nost, so we'll see how that goes down. But yes, I used to prepare by taking a bunch of movie trivia quizzes online. There's numerous sites I go to just quiz myself. And that's how I did at the beginning when I was really, really hungry. But I got to find that overall hunger again and see if I can maybe enter into the tournament later on this year and maybe win that tournament for my shot at the title. We'll see. Because right now, losing to Snyder, it's going to take me a long time to get back up there. Even though I was ranked number 2 or 3, falling back down after Snyder, it's going to take me a while. So there are other competitors coming up. And so we'll see. We'll see. Because I have to win 3 in a row to be able to vie for the title. Patrick Carter, if we get a cruiser belt, can it be something like the Breakfast Club belt? I don't know if I like that sound. Breakfast Club belt. I don't know if that's a cruiserweight belt necessarily. I'm sure we can come up with something a little bit better than that. We'll see. What would be another cruiserweight belt? Oh, how about the Cobra Kai belt? Boom! Cobra Kai belt. That would be it. All right. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Got to wrap it up now. It's 30 minutes. So it's been great talking to you all. Thanks for all the questions. A lot of fun. I've enjoyed doing this rundown over the last couple of years, and you guys are a huge reason why. Your responses, your comments, the back and forths, even when they're negative, it's still fun to know people are really passionate about the movie trivia showdown. So I really appreciate you guys being a part of it, and you guys loving and spending time watching what we do on these shows and the back and forth. And thanks to everybody who donates to the Patreon. That's really important. You can do that at www.patreon.com/schmodown and go there and donate. You get things just like this. You get personalized conversations apparently with the competitors, and we write things out, send you postcards, send you gifts, autograph stuff. There's all kinds of stuff that you get being a patron. So I would recommend you guys do that. So, all right, I think that's it. Thanks, everyone. Have a great time. If you want to follow me, you can. If you haven't followed me yet, you can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. You listen to the Top 10 Show and Outlaw Nation when I bring it back. I've kind of been on hiatus with that, but you can listen to the Top 10 Show over on Schmo's No Podcast channel, and you can listen to the Cinephiles, the Cine-Files on iTunes, Stitcher, and wherever podcasts are available. We do that every week. So thanks, everybody, and we will talk to you soon. Have a great weekend.